Hello, welcome to Popalong RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing, and here on the channel we have got some amazing cars. We try to race in as many different race classes as possible. We travel up and down the country, visiting as many clubs, shops, stores as possible to promote this amazing hobby that we're a part of. Now, recently I've been running over here my Schumacher Cougar Classic, set up pretty much box stock with a hobby wing 1080 and a 15-turn core motor. Lovely drive, really nice. The idea was we get two of these on the channel and me and Mark can have some nice, fair, level racing, and it's not quite going to plan at the moment. This is still stock. Mark just can't help himself. So yeah, watch this space for that project is all I can say. Then I have got here my Schumacher LD3. I'm a big fan of this car in terms of buggy racing. Really nice to drive. And then there is the stadium truck. I mean, this is the car that I'm having the most fun with. Obviously, I ran this at the MKGP or the British Grand Prix. It was an absolute blast, and I definitely want to be doing more of this over the coming weeks. However, I am due back out with the Cougar Classic. I'm going to pop back over to Stevenage Indoor Raceway, but this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to bring back this. Now, this is the team associated RB10 ready to run truck. I featured it on the channel. This was my first race buggy, or my first buggy. It wasn't a race buggy, it's just a buggy. And I featured this on the channel. I've raced it indoors and outdoors. Now, with the new club over at Stevenage starting up and getting running, I think this is actually quite a good buggy for beginners getting into the hobby. It's not too fast. It behaves itself on the track. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking my son racing for the very first time, and let's see how he gets on. So here we have the new track layout for this week. We still have the pop dots, we have the green Astro, we have a little jump there, down the straight we have another little jump, then we have the crossover and down, and a little bit slippy down here, and that is the track for this week. The orange car you can see going around there is RC Kicks. He's putting in some clean laps. The way that's behaving, it looks like a four-wheel drive. Maybe I'll go have a little chat with him in a second and see what he is running today, because I haven't actually spoken to him yet, because he literally turned up and racing begun. So today, my priority is not myself. I've actually brought my son along today to run his RB10. So this is his first attempt at off-road racing. So let's see how he gets on today. So, onto the track, and it's AJ's turn to hit the track. Now, the first time Mark and I came to race Indoor Raceway Stevenage, the track was ideal for beginners. Super simple layout, small jumps, some interesting features, but nothing too challenging. However, this week the addition of the gap jump, where you had to jump over the track, was a little bit of a stretch for many of the newbies and novices, because it required you to get yourself straightened up and then hit the throttle in order to clear the jump, and also not overcook it at the other side. And there were a few cars that didn't quite make the landing. There was a few cars that hit the upside of the jump, and the track just didn't have the same sort of beginner friendly feel as the previous week. That being said, for the more advanced drivers and for myself, absolutely love the track, and what they've done with the space was amazing. But I do think for the beginners it was possibly a little bit too challenging. But for AJ, he persisted with the RB10. He is very much a touring car driver. He's been running a four-wheel drive touring car and a rear motor 2-wheel drive buggy performs very differently to a 4-wheel drive touring car. So he had to get used to the fact that if he got on the throttle whilst turning, the car struggled to steer. And this was the main thing that he had to pick up. And then obviously the jumps were another thing that he had to sort of get used to. And it was a steep learning curve for him, but he did progress as he went through the day. He got better and better. For his first outing, I think he did an amazing job of getting around what was a very challenging track. And what about me then? So the Cougar Classic, round one, got caught up in a little bit of traffic on the first lap, made a little mistake, and then I kind of got into my driving. As I say, the priority for today was AJ with the RB10, so I didn't go out in practice, so therefore my first few laps were my practice laps. Once I got out onto the track and into my flow, the same sort of rhythm as last week: slow is fast, keep it smooth, keep it consistent, avoid making mistakes. Now, as I mentioned, this jump feature through the centre there was challenging because there wasn't much of a run up into the jump, and you also had to turn directly after the jump, and I was struggling a little bit with compression. So when I was landing, I was trying to turn and make the turn, but the car was sort of bouncing and popping, so I wasn't as consistent as I would like to have been, but I was getting round okay. So the slippy didn't really impact me with the Cougar, but this was in fact my only run of the day, because as I came round the track and hit this jump, there was part of the track that wasn't in place properly, and as a result it hooked one of my wheels, causing me to just get hooked up. I was hooked up for about a second, and that is all it took for my car. You can see there I've just got hooked up on the barrier. It's just pinged away, and now I've got no drive. So we believe it's the lay shaft that has gone on the car, but that means I had to stand and watch the rest of the race, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get the car fixed, so my race consisted of one round.